Uncorking the bottling model, owned versus contract. Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. I'm honestly so thrilled you're here today because we're going to uncork something pretty fascinating. We're pulling back the curtain, right, to reveal the totally hidden supply chain mechanics of the alcohol industry. Most of us just glance at the label on a bottle, but the actual business strategy required to get that exact liquid into your specific glass, it is an absolute masterclass in logistics.
So let's dive right in with a super simple question. Who actually bottles your favorite drink? Think about it. When you pick up that famous brand of whiskey or vodka at the store, you probably just assume the company whose name is slapped on the label owns some massive, sprawling factory where every single drop is made and packaged, right? Well, in the spirits industry, that assumption is very often wrong. The real story of how these drinks are bottled is way more strategic and honestly, a lot more interesting. To figure out how it actually works, we gotta talk about the hybrid bottling model. Simply put, this is a strategy where a company uses a mix of their own directly owned factories and entirely separate third-party partner companies, which we call contractors, to bottle their drinks. It's kind of like a restaurant. Sometimes the head chef makes the signature dish right there in the main kitchen, but, for massive catering orders, they might partner with a trusted off-site kitchen to help meet all that demand. Well, spirits companies do the exact same thing.
And there's this massive strategic tug-of-war happening here. Why not just own everything yourself? Or, alternatively, contract the whole shebang out? Well, owned bottling units give you much tighter quality oversight and control. You own the building, you own the machines, you manage the staff. You literally control every single detail. But building factories is crazy expensive. So that's exactly where contract bottling units come in. Partnering with a contractor offers immense capital efficiency. It takes way less direct capital expenditure, or CapEx. You aren't building a factory from scratch, you're just hiring the capacity. It's this ultimate balancing act, right? Maintaining meticulous quality control on one side while achieving really rapid asset-light expansion on the other.
Okay, so let's look at what that balance looks like out in the real world. Take a major player in the Indian spirits market, Radico Khaitan. They operate this sprawling network of 33 bottling units nationwide. But check out the split here. Only 5 of those are directly owned units. A staggering 28 of them are contract bottling units, or CBUs. That is a massive strategic tilt toward contract bottling. They are heavily leveraging their partners to scale up the business.
And leaning into this hybrid approach, it translates into pure scale. 160 million. That is an absolute behemoth of a number. By utilizing those 28 contract units right alongside their 5 owned ones, Radico hits a total annual capacity of 160 million liters. Think about that. They achieve this absolutely staggering output without completely drowning in the infrastructure costs you'd need to build 33 factories from the ground up. It's just a brilliant play. Maximum reach, minimal financial drag.
But here's the really crucial point. This hybrid model, it isn't just some clever financial quirk to save a few bucks. In a market like India, it's a vital logistical necessity. See, alcohol is regulated and taxed at the state level in India. Every single state has its own totally distinct bottling and excise regulations. It is literally a state-by-state maze. So if a company wants to sell nationally, trying to build one centralized super factory just doesn't work with all those crossing borders and varying state laws. The hybrid model fixes this. It allows companies to quickly set up local, state-specific contract partners, comply with all the local laws, and actually get their products onto shelves efficiently.
Which brings us to a final thought I really want to leave you with. If navigating state regulations and managing capital expenditures ultimately dictates exactly where and how these drinks are bottled, is mastering the supply chain actually just as important as the recipe itself? It really makes you marvel at all those behind-the-scenes business strategies that actually get your favorite drinks onto the shelf. Seriously, next time you pour a glass, you aren't just tasting the ingredients, you're tasting a logistical triumph. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking those great questions, and I'll see you next time.